gold and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about God's presence where the angels are there worshiping God, crying, holy, 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 in the presence of God in unapproachable light as He dwells in eternity that is beyond our understanding. The presence of God, there was a rebellion among the created beings. That God had created personally, on purpose, one at a time. It's not saying He didn't create you purposefully and on purpose and one at a time. But it's different. You have a grandmother and a grandfather, and you have a line that goes all the way back to Adam and Eve, somehow, some way. I can go back to a 6th, 7th great-grandfather, 7th, I think, on the Madden side. That's just the Maddens. That's not everybody else. But they don't have that. They were made once. They were formed once. They were designed once. They don't have children or grandchildren. They just are. This is what we talked about last week. It's unthinkable that they, knowing God face to face, being brought into His presence through His creation, through His design, would openly rebel against Yahweh. But that's exactly what they did. Satan, we talked about it. We looked at Isaiah 14. We looked at Ezekiel 28 last week. We're not going to do that again. But it's unthinkable what happened in the presence of God. It's unthinkable. God had a plan. God had a design. And in His design and in His plan, He allowed that there would be sin and rebellion. He allowed it. He allowed that Satan could rebel, he could sin, that the angels could do it, and a third of them did it. And Jesus says, He tells His disciples, I was there and I saw Satan fall like lightning to the earth. Apparently with the demonic at some point in measures, and I'm not sure how that worked. But these fallen angels followed Satan. It's unthinkable that it would be even possible that you could see God in His glory and still rebel against Him and hate Him and say in your heart, I will be greater than God. That's why when we understand and deal and talk about sin, original sin, the doctrine of sin, so that's where we are in Genesis 3 right now. For the next few weeks, we're going to be dealing with the doctrine of sin. We started last week. We're going to continue to look at aspects of it while we're here. It's why sin is not tameable. The sin that is in our heart can't be domesticated. It can't be housebroke or potty trained. It can't be ever brought under control. It will never obey. It is sheer and utter rebellion against the holy God of the universe. And you can begin to parse it and tear it all apart and go, all right, what about adultery? It is rebellion against God. What about homosexuality? crystal clear. Homosexuality is rebellion against God. It is standing in the face of what God has designed and made and say no and follow your lust or your desires. And if it were possible, and sometimes it is, if it were possible, that would be brought all the way to the very bitter end in death and lead myriads with that sin. Lying, perpetual liar, is following after Satan, the father of lies. Coveting is not being satisfied with what God has provided for you and given to you, and you look over the fence and think it is greener there, but what you don't understand is it is sheer, utter poison. Sin is rebellion against God. Adam, as we looked at last week, and Eve had an unthinkable, immeasurable, joyful, peaceful, sinless environment in which God would come. And they would hear Him coming. And they would commune with Him. They would have fellowship with Him. And He would come. And they would enjoy Him. And He would enjoy them. And His rule was, don't eat from this tree. By the way, be fruitful and multiply. All this is yours. You will surely eat from all of this. This is all yours. Enjoy. And you had it all. They had it all. And it was all for the glory of God. And they were to rule over everything. And Adam was in charge of everything. And everything that was done and said, he was in charge of the garden. And when the serpent came in, all Adam had to do is say, shut up, get out. That's not what he did. And when it was all said and done, what we discover is that Adam, which we haven't got to this, we'll get to it next week, big time. Adam is the one that openly, with foreknowledge, with forethought, openly, unthinkably, rebelled against God after his wife had taken from the fruit. She gave the fruit to him, and he ate. And when he ate, their eyes were open, and now they had something to be ashamed of. I believe something was stripped away from them. Something in their body, in their soul, something was stripped from them, and they realized something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's different. It's not the same. I'm not the same, you're not the same, we're not the same, nothing's the same. Death came, Romans 5. Death came, 1 Corinthians 11. Death came through Adam. Death came through Adam. Sin came through Adam, and death came to the world through Adam. Adam's open rebellion. He was not deceived. He openly rebelled for whatever insane reason against God. 1 Timothy 2:14, Adam was not deceived, but the woman was deceived and became a transgressor. And Jesus will eventually tell the disciples, let me tell you about you guys. You are of your father, the devil. He was a murderer. He was a murderer. When? From the beginning. He was a murderer. He is a liar. He's the father of lies. That's what he is. And what me and you have to deal with, what we have to deal with is this thing. This is what we deal with. This is the centerpiece of what we have to deal with on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, yearly, lifelong thing to deal with. It's called original sin. Original sin, Calvin writes, is that hereditary depravity and corruption of our nature, diffused into all parts of the soul. It's everywhere. It's like blood inside of you. Any place that we take a little knife and we nick you, anywhere on your body, anywhere, blood's going to come out because it's diffused all through your body, through capillaries. You are completely full of the blood that is your life, and it's in every part of you. And sin, there's no part of our body and our nature that sin doesn't want to rule and reign and have control and be there and influence and cause. There's no place. It's diffused into everywhere and throughout our soul, which first makes us liable to God's wrath. There's the rub. We don't like to call that spade a spade. That because of my sin, I'm liable. Because of my sin, I'm accountable. Because of my sin, I'm liable to God's wrath. I'm liable to God's judgment. I'm accountable to the Creator because of my sin. Don't like it. We don't want to hear it. Let's talk about something else. Went by church this morning. I don't know why it rolled through my little weak mind. Coming here, I'm like, I wonder what they're going to talk about today. I wonder what they're going to talk about. I'll bet it's not original sin / total depravity. We don't want to think about it, talk about it, confront it. We don't want to face up to it because it makes us uncomfortable. And we go, why can't we do something else? Because sin is the whole issue of this whole book. Whether you're in Ezekiel or you're in Habakkuk or you're in Matthew or you're in Revelation, sin is the issue. Sin is the problem. Sin is